Welcome to the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge, your trusted source for all things outdoors here in Vermont and New Hampshire. I'm your host, Joshua Smith, and today we're celebrating the magic of Christmas with a visit to the Fullerton Christmas Tree Farm in North Haverhill. We'll dive into the science, the culture, and the history of the Christmas tree, explore what it takes to grow these festive icons, and learn the story behind this cherished family-owned farm. Plus, don't forget, we'll bring you a harvest report from the West Barnett store and also the Upper Valley Grill. And later on in the episode, we do not want to miss the weekend outdoor edge forecast with Mark Breen from the Fairbanks Museum. So, without further ado, we are chock-a-block full of information, and we had Ron Fullerton come in earlier to have a conversation with me about Christmas trees and about the Christmas Tree Farm and why this is such a celebrated time for the Christmas tree, and also all the different types of Christmas trees, the different conifers that are available, and what it takes to actually get a multi-acre farm up and running. So without further ado, I'm going to start playing that conversation I had with him, and then we'll also jump into the harvest reports later on in the episode. So here we go. So we are here with Ron Fullerton from Fullerton Christmas Tree Farm. And Ron, it is the Christmas season. People are out getting their Christmas trees. And the Fullerton Christmas Tree Farm is one of the best locations around the area to pick up a Christmas tree. What inspired you to start Fullerton Christmas Tree Farm?
Well, we love the business, and years ago we were wreath makers, my wife and I, and we did that for 30 years, making Christmas wreaths. And I was always interested in Christmas trees, and when our 3 children were born, I said, let's do a small 1-acre Christmas tree farm and use the money for college. And that was like the early 1990s.
Wow.
30 years ago. So I planted 1,000 trees. 9 years later, we sold them, and we used part of the money for the kids' school. So then what happened is my children started having children. So I have these little grandchildren that, they got their arms out saying, "I love you, Grandpa." And I said, how can I help my grandchildren? Well, let's have a Christmas tree farm, and we'll use some of that money for school.
Okay.
So it was my children having grandchildren saying, I want to continue. How can a very middle-class person help towards school? And I thought Christmas trees was the way.
Right.
So that's how we started.
Well, because you said you planted 1,000 trees. Now, how much is that? 1 acre, 2 acres? How does that? What does 1,000 trees equate to from like an acre perspective?
Very specifically, it's 6 by 6 spacing, 6 feet by 6, so you can mow well. Is 1,200 trees to an acre.
Okay.
So at the tree farm on Wallace Hill that we had, we did an acre of 1,200 trees, basically. And then I was fortunate enough to purchase land from the Martells in North Haverhill, which is 6 acres.
Okay.
And each year I've planted 1,500 trees each year in blocks.
Huh.
So this is year 1, 1,500 trees, and the next section's 1,500 trees, year 2, and the next section's year 3. And I got roads through them, so you're very specific. And you can look, in each section is a foot shorter than the other.
Right.
So I can look at 4 years planting, and I'd say basically the trees are 4 feet tall.
Uh-huh.
And 5 years of planting is a 5-foot tree. I do a 9-inch top. We can get into pruning at some point, but
right.
You can see each section in the height of each tree.
So basically, like every year it gets a foot taller then, more or less?
The top leader, you're fertilizing, and you're depending on how much rain we get in the soil and everything, is each tree's individual.
Right.
Will grow between 6-8 inches to 2 feet. Mm-hmm. And a 2-foot tree, we top prune it down to 9 inches. I try to prune between 9 to 12 inches every tree.
Okay.
You don't want a tree to grow really tall and skinny and gappy you want it nice and full.
Right.
So you have to top prune, and it lets and you also get, again, we'll talk a little bit about pruning. If you base prune, you get more bud growth if you fertilize, and there's a lot to taking care of the tree to get that tree to really fill out nice and full.
Right. Because I mean, as growing up in Groton, we would always, for our Christmas trees, we would just go out in the woods and just cut a tree down. And they are not, when you do that, kind of those almost homemade, going out in the woods, cutting your own, they don't look as pristine as what you would get at a Christmas tree farm.
Well, the other is that Christmas trees don't like the shade. And so when you're in the forest, they're not getting the sun that they really need.
Right.
And they're competing with all the other trees around them.
Right.
And that's why the 6-6 spacing, it's not competing with any other tree. And then you fertilize around the tree right where the new root system's growing, so
right.
it grows healthy.
Right. And so what would you use? What do you use for like fertilizer for Christmas trees? Is it anything to do with any like nitrogen, or what is?
Absolutely. You take a soil sample every year. You should, but you could every couple years. And then you have it analyzed at UNH, and they'll say you need a little bit more of this. Northeast Ag will mix your fertilizer for you. They have a Christmas tree mix too. So it's not a 10-10-10 where you may need more magnesium.
Right.
They will mix your fertilizer exactly what you want.
Right.
And so you do a soil sample and you find out. Because if your soil's right and the pH is right, the fertilizer you put on will really work. Versus if you just kind of guess at it and say, I need a little nitrogen to green up the tree a little bit.
Right.
So the more professional you are and the better you are, the tree does better.
Right.
And same with pruning.
Right. All right. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we'll talk more with Ron Fullerton of Fullerton Christmas Trees, asking about more of like what he does with, say, like the customer experience on Christmas tree farming. So we'll tune right back in.
It's a St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge on YKR Country.
Your website isn't working for you. Hi, this is Jay Davis, co-founder of Northeast Kingdom Online. I'm sure you've seen us online already. We've created hundreds of websites for companies just like yours. If you're ready to stand out on the internet, it's time to join forces with Northeast Kingdom Online, Northern New England's premier website design company. From security to mobile responsiveness, we handle it all. Let's make your website as unique as your business. Visit us at northeastkingdomonline.com and let's get started. Achieve more with northeastkingdomonline.com.
At R&L Archery, we know it's not just about the thrill of the hunt or the size of the fish. It's about the moments that matter most, the traditions passed down from one generation to the next, and the stories told by the fire long after the sun is set. It's about the journey, the memories, and the time spent together with friends and family, because these are the moments that truly last a lifetime. R&L Archery, where every adventure begins. Come create your story.
At Red Clover Bikes in Fairleigh, Vermont, we know that a bike is more than just a ride. It's an extension of who you are. With financing available on top-tier Trek bicycles, e-bikes, and a team that's all about making biking accessible and fun, we help you make the most of the roads and the trails that make this little spot of heaven special. Whether you're looking to enhance your bike's performance or need expert advice on the latest cycling gear, we've got you covered. So come visit us in Fairleigh at Red Clover Bikes, where your adventure begins.
Miles Supply, your stop for all your general business products, paper towels, toilet paper, first aid kits, and more. Purchase your paper and soap products from Miles, and they'll install the dispensers for free. Do you own a salon, restaurant, coffee shop, or gym making a monthly run to the big box store for your business supplies? Save time with Miles Supply. Call today for a sales visit, 476-3963, or walk directly into their showroom, 143 Boynton Street next to Spalding High School. Miles Supply, family owned and building relationships since 1954.
Welcome back to the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge. And today we are talking to Ron Fullerton of Fullerton Christmas Tree Farms. And before the break, we were talking a little bit about what it takes to kind of start a Christmas tree farm. And so, Ron, you were mentioning that it takes about 8 years to get a full Christmas tree that's ready for sale, correct?
Right.
Yeah. So if somebody comes in and says they're looking for smaller trees, do you kind of steer people away from some of the smaller trees, or how would that work?
No, we have a choose and cut Christmas tree farm, so you can pick any tree you want that's there. A lot of people want some people want a kind of a narrower, tight tree, and some people want a big fat tree.
Yeah.
Some people want an 8-foot tall tree. I would say the average tree that most people want 7.5 feet.
Right.
We do get people wanting a 5-foot tree.
Right.
They just have a small area.
Right.
So the beauty of our tree farm is we have 5, 6, 7 acres. You can walk through the whole property, decide on one, and then go to another one that you like a little bit better. And you haven't cut it yet.
Right.
So you can go around and just look. I mean, most people say these trees all look beautiful, but they still spend 15, 20 minutes, and finally they find a tree that they like.
Right.
It's kind of the fun of it's an experience that it's fresh because you're cutting it.
Right.
And you picked it out.
Right.
And what I find is that people drive in, husband and wife of two, 3 kids. Everyone's happy. It's Christmas, you know. And I think it's just worth the experience to walk out on the tree farm and pick a tree.
Right.
And then we bale it. So it's nice and tight. You can bring it through your house easy. And you've gone from cutting the tree to bringing it in your house and decorating it.
Right.
And my joke with a lot of the young kids is, have your parents pop some popcorn and then string it, because that's probably old-fashioned now. You know, we want to buy things from the store. Right. But you can make your own garland, popcorn. So it's kind of funny.
Well, and so you mentioned too, which was really great. Was it a couple weeks ago? I came and visited Fullerton Christmas Tree Farms, and as you mentioned, it is gorgeous right there on Sand Road. It is, as you say, it's fields and fields of beautiful Christmas trees, and then you can walk through. And one of the things that you pointed out to me, is that not all the trees. Not all conifers, not all pine trees make good Christmas trees.
We're very proud of our tree farm. Is my son Andy, my wife Joanne, and I. We run a string. We do a 90, and all our rows are straight. So it's easy to mow. You're not running anything over small seedlings because everything's in a straight line. So people can walk through the farm really easy because both directions it's a 6-foot path each way. Right. So it just works well. Right. There are a lot of plantations where it was a wild field and they've planted thousands of trees in an area and it's all mixed in, and that's a different experience too. It's kind of fun. Right. And there are a lot of people that plant from wild trees, and they're pruning them and they're out in the sun and they become a nice tree. Right. It's just another tree. Each tree farm's a little different.
And so you have, because you don't balsam trees are native to our area. Right. Right? Yep. And your Christmas trees are Fraser firs?
Fraser fir.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
So to me, the Cadillac of Christmas trees is the Fraser fir. It's the needles last longer, the branches are stronger, the balsam's more fragrant, and it fills in a little bit more, but it doesn't hold the ornaments as well. Most people prefer a Fraser fir. We have a small section of balsam, not a lot of them. If you want that fragrant, it's right there. The Fraser lasts longer. Yeah. It's just a little bit better of a tree. Right. And that's from North Carolina. They get their seed source there. They've brought those seeds here. They've put them in a garden. It's not a native tree, but it grows well. And so our seed source is from New England. Okay. We buy from 2 or 3 different places. We'll buy a 10 8-10 inch tree that's 2 years old, and we'll put that in the ground where a professional greenhouse has grown the tree for a couple of years.
Right.
I've thought of trying from seed,
Right.
doing a garden and doing a seed bed. Something I might try.
And you also mentioned too, Scotch pine was another type of that. Those are good with the pine cones themselves. Are great for wreaths.
We like the round cones.
Okay.
So depending on your soil and conditions, we find the Fraser fir is pretty disease-free, bug-free. It buds out late in the spring, so nothing attacks it.
Right.
And same with frost. It doesn't get damaged through frost. Like the balsam buds out 2 weeks earlier than the Fraser. So we have stayed away from Scotch pine, blue spruce. There are all sorts of different. They're just a harder tree to grow. People try to keep life simple, and people love the blue spruce, but they're a hard tree to grow.
Whereas the Fraser fir, is that easier to prune as well then too?
That pruning's as soon as when the trees, each new growth is almost like butter. The top leader, sometimes a bird will go on the leader and it'll break it. It's so tender the first 2-3 weeks it's growing, and then as the fall comes and colder weather comes, it hardens up. So this real tender branch becomes a strong branch. So when you're pruning, we prune late August, early September, the pruning's easy. Nothing's hardening up yet.
Right.
So it's, so we start shaping the tree when it's 2 to 3 feet tall, and we're letting it grow 9 to 12 inches. And once you get your shape that you like, new growth will come each year. You're just shaping that. You want as many buds as you can. You want this tree to really fill in. And it's just you got to be patient. And it's, the first 3-4 years of a Christmas tree farm, you're like, are these trees ever going to fill in? Well, they're establishing their roots.
Okay.
And they're really, once they get to be 4 feet tall, they are growing.
Right.
And they really fill in.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take another quick break, and when we get back, we'll be talking more with Ron Fullerton in the Fullerton Christmas Tree Farm. So stay tuned.
It's the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge on YKR Country.
Yep, holiday shopping time is here again. I always stop at Gateway Sports there in Wells River. You can find stocking stuffers for those hunters and sportsmen, all of them folks on your list, new and used firearms, all the gear for muzzle load, ammo, holsters, you know what I mean. My buddy Gary even looks a lot like Santa, but don't tell him I said so. It's Christmas gift shopping time. Why don't you head over to Gateway Sports there in Wells River, just before the bridge on 302. Don't blink, you'll miss it. Ho, ho, ho!
This is Bob McGee from Wild Vermont Customs. From mud to snow, water to road, power to pedal, our custom fabrication shop can make it look great. With paint, hydro dip, powder coat, media blast in your restoration project, metal artwork, or your hunting trophies. Come see what we can do for you. Gabe, what can we do for the hunting trophies?
We can dip Euro skulls, make custom plaques or mounts.
Wild Vermont Customs, East Redgate, Vermont. On the web at wildvt.com.
Check out our Facebook page for pictures.
Horse Meadow Senior Center invites you to join them for the 3rd Annual Community Festival of Trees. Bring the family and enjoy the decorated trees from November 18th through December 6th. Santa will be there on December 4th from 5 to 6 p.m. for cookies and hot chocolate. All proceeds from this event will go to the Home Delivered Meals program. For more information about this fundraiser, contact Horse Meadow Senior Center.
What's going on? The community calendar of events in the listening area is brought to you by Wells River Savings, your good neighbor bank, online at wellsriversavings.com.
The Coas Chamber of Commerce announces the Winter Decorating Contest. Register now for the 4th annual. Calling all Cohas region businesses and homeowners, deck the halls of your businesses and homes to showcase your holiday spirit. Calling all Cohas regional community members to enjoy beautiful holiday decorations and vote for your favorite entries. Be sure to stop at the stores and restaurants along the route to support local this holiday season.
And we are back. This is the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge. And we have Ron Fullerton with us from the Fullerton Christmas Tree Farm. And we are learning all things Christmas trees. And so, Ron, this is for you. This isn't just a one-time-a-year thing. You have to maintain this farm all year long.
Well, that's what we love about it, because you're outside.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to retire from my regular job and watch Seinfeld for a living, you know, sit on the couch. So, fortunately, my brother John Fullerton, he mowed my tree farm while I was still working for the first 5 years.
Right.
So we mow about every 2 weeks, which is, 7 acres of field.
Right.
In the beginning, in the springtime, you order your seedlings. So you set up an area where you want to plant new trees or what the future is. And then when the trees just start to bud out, the bigger trees, they'll produce cones. And you have to pick those cones so they don't take nutrients away from the tree. There's always something to do at the tree farm. You'd never run out of things to do. But as soon as you do that, when the trees are starting to bud, you have to fertilize them.
Right.
So if you spend a minute a tree, you're spending 40 hours fertilizing trees, and you only do it once. You could do it a second time later in the year, but generally one fertilizer's fine. But that's a big process. The
Right.
same with mowing the tree farm. If the mowing the tree farm is 10 hours every 2 weeks.
Well, because you said it's thousands and thousands of trees.
Right. And then when August, September comes, you have 60, 80 hours of pruning. So prior to that, even if you have 2 leaders coming up, a dual leader, you'll cut one off. You'll leave one top leader. So my wife will go around and do that while we're pruning the trees. And shaping each tree takes 1 or 2 minutes per tree. And so sometimes what I'll do is I'll do 3-4 hours of pruning, and that'll be enough for the day.
Right.
And I'll come back the next day and do 4 or 5 hours of pruning. So you can spend almost a month pruning trees.
Wow.
If you don't stay right at it.
And do you prune a tree? Is it once a year or twice a year?
Once a year.
Okay.
You have new growth. The tree grows, and you shape it that one time, and then if you wait till September, the tree's all done growing at that point. If you do it a little earlier, it may grow another 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, but generally you wait till the trees are done growing before you start pruning.
Okay, so you would do that in the fall then?
Yep, in the fall.
Okay.
Yep.
And you mentioned earlier about the pine cones. So they will create those pine cones, and those pine cones, correct me if I'm wrong, don't create seeds though. Those are just making them for the sake of making them at that point when they're that young?
No, they do. There are seeds in the cones, and
Okay.
the birds will eat them, and they'll spread the cones. A young tree that's 10, 12, 15 years old won't germinate a seed.
Okay.
A tree has to be mature. It has to be, and a guess is 20 years old before it would produce other, seedlings.
Okay.
So you will look in a balsam forest, and you'll look at the rug underneath the tree, and you'll see 1,000 little seedlings there.
Right.
That tree produced those seeds, and they germinated. But you have to see. If you walk through a forest, you'll see saplings, small trees of oaks and maples.
Right.
They just produced from the tree.
Right. And also, if you're walking through the woods, you see some of those pine cones that are already like broken open and everything, because squirrels ate all the seeds from there too.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to have a quality tree, you need to buy what they do in North Carolina, they save these beautiful, maybe even a blue tint to them, beautiful trees, and they use lifts, and they go up and collect those cones, and they dry out the seeds, and it's just a higher quality. And now we do that here in New England with the Fraser fir.
Right.
People have, I have at my house 20-foot trees that are 20 years old, and I can get the seed from that.
Right. Well, so you mentioned too, is like, so you don't do this work by yourself in the sense, there's other Christmas tree farms around, and there's an association as well for Christmas trees?
Yep, there's New Hampshire, Vermont Christmas Tree Association, and it's, I would say, most growers belong to it. They have a winter meeting dealing in finance. They have a summer meeting. At the summer meeting, you meet at a different farm every year. So you'll go to a farm in southern Vermont, one in northern New Hampshire. You know, the fall meeting's exciting because all the companies will come that sell pruning knives and planters and, you know, all these big companies. And then wreath people will order their supplies from a company like Kelco, where they'll bring a tractor trailer load of rings and supplies, and so people can save on shipping. So the fall meeting, New Hampshire or Vermont, their entomologists will come. They'll have professional, a big grower will show how to prune a tree, how he does it, how he properly does it, and people ask him questions. Why do you pick this way? Why do you do this? What are the best pruning knives? The tree meetings are fun, they're informative, and you get to be around people that are, you know, some of them grow 1 million trees.
Wow.
They'll do 25,000, 50,000 trees a year, you know, on a 25-acre field, year after year, and they're just, you know, good at what they do.
Right, yeah.
You know?
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we will be talking more with Ron Fullerton. And don't forget, near the end of this, and also coming up, we will have our. Oh, let me do that again. And coming up, we still.
It's a St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge on YKR Country.
At R&L Archery, we know it's not just about the thrill of the hunt or the size of the fish. It's about the moments that matter most, the traditions passed down from one generation to the next, and the stories told by the fire long after the sun is set. It's about the journey, the memories, and the time spent together with friends and family, because these are the moments that truly last a lifetime. R&L Archery, where every adventure begins. Come create your story.
The Autosaver Group's St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram asks, do your outdoor adventures take you to where you wish you had a four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive? At St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, explore their vast inventory of adventure-savvy four-wheel drives and all-wheel drive vehicles, ready for you to drive at home. Plus, every St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram deal includes the Big Deal Plus, which is a 2-year unlimited scheduled maintenance plan, which includes free state inspections for life. Stop in today in St. Johnsbury, Vermont, or shop St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram online at stjohnsburycdjr.com.
And we are back. This is the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge, and we are talking with Ron Fullerton from the Fullerton Christmas Tree Farm. And Ron, before the break, we were talking a little bit about that there is a New Hampshire and Vermont Christmas Tree Association, and mentioning so you've been doing this now, we mentioned, since the 90s, so about 30 years you've been in the Christmas tree farm business. Mm-hmm. Have you seen how has the industry evolved since you started?
I think it seems like there's been a shortage of Christmas trees.
Wow.
And so the big growers have been, trying to produce as much as possible. There are huge growers in New Brunswick, Quebec. I mean, some of these, when you see all the tractor trailers at P&H,
right?
I would say most of those tractor trailers are coming from Quebec.
Wow.
They put 600 to 800 Christmas trees on a tractor trailer load. And so these cities are so large with so the volume of people,
right? That
land's more plentiful here,
yeah,
than Worcester, Massachusetts. So that's been interesting. The wholesale versus the retail, where I'm a choose and cut guy.
Right.
You come to the tree farm, you pick out a tree. The people in the city don't get that experience unless they want to come up here.
Right.
It's like, why not come up here instead of go skiing? Come get a Christmas tree.
Right.
Right.
And do you know, so like say for different parts of the city, because you mentioned North Carolina, do different parts of the country grow a different type of Christmas tree?
Well, like out west, the Douglas fir is the tree.
Okay.
And they do a few. That's what grows out in the west.
Right.
I would say North Carolina, it's mostly Fraser fir. The Midwest, a lot of balsam and Fraser fir. People, there's Canaan fir. They do conkeler fir. There are tree farmers that want to try lots of different types of trees, so they'll do a half an acre of Canaan. They'll do half an acre of conkeler. They'll try, see how things work.
Right.
You do make mistakes in this business, and you learn from them. So you need to try.
Right.
We were thinking at our tree farm of maybe doing some watering the trees. We have a dug well. We have a stream near.
Right.
With the drought, with the conditions that have happened, I'm seeing that in the Carolinas, where they're having drought issues in the summer.
Right.
And it affects the growth of the tree. You don't have the bud, the healthier a tree is, the more buds, the more full it will be.
Right.
It'll grow better.
Right. When people come visit the Fullerton Christmas Tree Farm, what can they expect? You mentioned they can come pick and choose. Is there other things that they'll be able to do while they're there?
Well, we are wreath makers. Joanne and I and Andy, we've done wreaths for 30 years. So we display some. It seems like by the time people are ready to buy a tree, they already have a wreath.
Huh, okay.
It's a 2-week earlier of the wreath season. But we have good parking. The field is flat, so it's very safe to walk in. They're greeted by my wife, Joanne. She'll say, "Merry Christmas." She's got a hat on, a Santa Claus hat on. I call her Mrs. Claus. She's giving out candy canes, if you would like some.
Yeah.
And we hand them a saw.
Right.
And say, "Welcome to our farm. Our trees are $60, any size. And go pick out a tree."
Right.
And usually it's just a good experience of, I'll ask them when they come back through, who picked out the tree?
Right.
Usually the 5 or 6 year olds say, "I did." But probably it's mom that did it. We have a Howie baler, a Christmas tree baler. We'll put the tree through the baler. 80-90% of the people want their tree baled. It just holds it tighter. It keeps it without the branches wanting to break by the time you get it home and through the door. It's a great experience.
Right.
Just to walk out on the tree farm and look at the trees, and you get to pick one. And we were going to try hot chocolate this year. We have it.
Okay.
We haven't put a pot on the. We were thinking of even doing a gas grill and of heating the water. So maybe this weekend we'll have hot chocolate. We definitely have candy canes. People are here for a short time.
Right.
By the time they pick out the tree, they want to get home and decorate it.
Right.
Get it in.
And so as you mentioned too, it's like, some folks that are thinking about, I've always wanted to get a real tree in my home. And you, as you mentioned, people are already coming to pick out trees. What's the timeline? How long would a Christmas tree last in somebody's home?
You really need to water it.
Okay.
You need to, it'll drink up the water. Since you've cut it fresh, so for people that buy a tree that is at a stand, you really should cut a half an inch or an inch off the bottom.
Okay.
So that makes it fresh again. And put the water to it. And the balsams really soak up the water. You're going from a 30-degree frozen tree to inside a house at 68 degrees.
Right.
And the tree, comes alive and wants water.
Right.
So you need to water that tree.
Yeah.
And it should last a long time. The Fraser firs, usually people are sick of the tree by the time it needs to go out. We've had people late in the same with our wreaths, and springtime's coming and it's almost golf season and people don't want to throw their wreath away. And it's same with the wreaths, as long as it's not in the direct sun and really drying out. It's a lot of it is caring for your tree.
Right.
Make sure you water it.
And as I said, that your spot on Sand Road, one of the decisions you made of purchasing that land, is it because the soil is good there? Is there a specific type of soil that is more conducive to having a Christmas tree farm?
Well, I wouldn't have bought a piece of property that was wet or had clay soil unless if that's all I was able to.
Right.
This sandy soil is very dry. The Fraser fir loves sand.
Okay.
Their roots are going deep down to get moisture.
Right.
I'm very happy with how well the trees have grown on sandy soil. It's in the dead of the summer when it's 90 degrees out, it feels like it's a desert. It's really, really dry there.
Right.
But the older the tree is, the deeper the roots are, the tree's doing well.
Right.
Usually my first year or two, the trees really struggle with if we have a drought.
Right.
They need the rain. 2 years ago, we had a lot of rain. The trees were really healthy.
Yeah.
They liked it, and we've spot and gotten the rain lately, which is helpful to the trees.
Yeah. And as you said, this is year round for you, as working in this Christmas tree farm. So you also mentioned too, before we started talking on the mics, is that those that cut a tree, you still have to get like some sort of like stump grinder or something, right, to flatten it out?
Well, like today I was going to go cut. If someone cuts a tree and they leave the stump up 3 or 5 inches, I'm going to cut it flush so nobody trips on it.
Okay.
But this spring, or I could do it now, is I have a small DR stump grinder. It's like a rotor tiller, but it grinds the stump and makes everything perfectly flush.
Right.
It makes the tree farm look nicer and it's safer to walk in.
Right.
I think if you cut just flush, it would be acceptable, but this is helpful.
Right. We're going to take another quick break, and when we get back, we will finish up our conversation with Ron Fullerton of the Fullerton Christmas Tree Farm.
It's the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge on YKR Country.
Yep, holiday shopping time is here again. I always stop at Gateway Sports there in Wells River. You can find stocking stuffers for those hunters and sportsmen, all of them folks on your list, new and used firearms, all the gear for muzzle load, ammo, holsters, you know what I mean. My buddy Gary even looks a lot like Santa, but don't tell him I said so. It's Christmas gift shopping time. Why don't you head over to Gateway Sports there in Wells River, just before the bridge on 302. Don't blink, you'll miss it. Ho, ho, ho!
This is Bob McGee from Wild Vermont Customs. From mud to snow, water to road, powered or pedaled, our custom fabrication shop can make it look great. With paint, hydro dip, powder coat, media blast in your restoration project, metal artwork, or your hunting trophies. Come see what we can do for you. Gabe, what can we do for the hunting trophies?
We can dip Euro skulls, make custom plaques or mounts.
Wild Vermont Customs, East Redgate, Vermont. On the web at wildvt.com.
Check out our Facebook page for pictures.
Miles Supply, your stop for all your general business products, paper towels, toilet paper, first aid kits, and more. Purchase your paper and soap products from Miles, and they'll install the dispensers for free. Do you own a salon, restaurant, coffee shop, or gym making a monthly run to the big box store for your business supplies? Save time with Miles Supply. Call today for a sales visit, 476-3963, or walk directly into their showroom, 143 Boynton Street next to Spalding High School. Miles Supply, family-owned and building relationships since 1954.
And we are back. This is the St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge. And we have a special Christmas episode that we've been talking with Ron Fullerton of the Fullerton Christmas Tree Farm. Ron, we're getting near the end of the hour. Do you have any great memories that you know of that's happened so far on the Christmas Tree Farm?
Well, I look back at a picture of my children back in the 90s, of these young 3, 4, 5-year-old children that are now in their mid-30s, with them around my small tree farm in Newberry. So it is a tradition. It's what I love about the tree farm. It's Christmas. It's just a good time of year. Last year was our first year open for Choose and Cut. And we're like, well, we're going to give it a try and see what happens, how many people come. We made really nice signs, homemade green signs of a Christmas tree with red and white lettering, and they really pop. And one family called and said, I want to propose to my girlfriend at your tree farm, and I want both families there. Can you hide them? And I'm like, yes, no problem. And so they came early, they hid their cars, and then we have a heated trailer where we make wreaths too. And they all jumped in it, probably 6 or 8 people, and hidden. We closed the door. And this couple came, and they went out the tree farm, and he proposed to her. She said yes. They called me the other day and said, we're coming again. It was just a good experience. Everything was just so positive. Right. He wanted to propose to his wife at the Christmas Tree Farm. And we do have photographers now and then will come and say, we'd like to take a picture around your trees for people. And we've allowed photographers to come and do that. I've been there at 6 in the morning and the sun is rising, and it's just the pink. It's just beautiful to see the tree farm with the sun rising. It's just a beautiful farm to be on. Right. So my experience is I'm pruning, I'm fertilizing. It's just a joy to be out working in something you like, that looks nice and it's working. Yeah. The tree farm, it works.
Well, thank you so much, Ron. And absolutely check out, and you're open so people can, when's the last day someone can get a Christmas tree from you?
So we're open Friday, Saturday, Sundays, 9 till dark. I'm going to stay open this Friday, Saturday, Sunday right before Christmas. Okay. December 22nd.
December 22nd. Okay.
Yeah. Pretty late in the year.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
some people want to put in their trees late.
That's true. Yeah. All right. The Christmas Tree Farm is on Sand Road in North Haverhill. You can't miss it. As soon as you get on that road, it's 100 feet, if not, right off of that road on Sand Road.
Yep. It's all Christmas trees.
Yep.
Can't miss it.
You can't miss it. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Ron.
It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Yeah.
And that was the conversation I had with Ron Fullerton earlier about the Fullerton Christmas Tree Farm. We are going to take our last break, and then during this break, we're also going to be able to hear the weekend outdoor edge forecast from Mark Breen. And then when we come back from the break, I have some harvest reports to share with all of you from the West Barnett store and the Upper Valley Grill. And after that, I have some news about high school basketball coming back. So stay tuned for that.
It's a St. Johnsbury Chrysler Dodge Jeep Rams Outdoor Edge on YKR Country.
Hi, this is Jay Davis, co-founder of NortheastKingdomOnline.com. As Northern New England's leading digital marketing agency, we will help your business harness the power of SEO, social media, and beyond to enhance your online presence. Your customers are looking for you. Work with our team of marketers to build a complete online marketing strategy. Visit NortheastKingdomOnline.com to see how we can heighten your brand. Achieve more with NortheastKingdomOnline.com.
At Red Clover Bikes in Fairleigh, Vermont, we know that a bike is more than just a ride. It's an extension of who you are. With financing available on top-tier Trek bicycles, e-bikes, and a team that's all about making biking accessible and fun, We help you make the most of the roads and the trails that make this little spot of heaven special. Whether you're looking to enhance your bike's performance or need expert advice on the latest cycling gear, we've got you covered. So come visit us in Fairleigh at Red Clover Bikes, where your adventure begins.
The Autosaver Group's St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram asks, do your outdoor adventures take you to where you wish you had a four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive? At St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, explore their vast inventory of adventure-savvy four-wheel drives and all-wheel drive vehicles, ready for you to drive at home. Plus, every St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram deal includes the Big Deal Plus, which is a 2-year unlimited scheduled maintenance plan, which includes free state inspections for life. Stop in today in St. Johnsbury, Vermont, or shop St. Johnsbury Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram online at stjohnsburycdjr.com.
From the Fairbanks Museum in St. Johnsbury, I'm Mark Breen with your Outdoor Edge forecast. After the snow comes the cold, a pretty classic-looking forecast. Deep low pressure developing over Maine spins up into Labrador, kicking up some more snow showers through the overnight, tapering off after midnight. But much colder air, nothing unusual for December, rides gusty winds into the area, lows tumbling to the teens overnight, then struggling to get much above 20 on the hills Friday, in the 20s in the valleys. With winds gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour, it will be a midwinter day, a rather chilly one for any outdoor plans. Skies will start out partly cloudy Friday night. The winds will ease up, but a minor disturbance brings in more clouds and maybe a few flurries or brief snow showers later at night into early Saturday. A reinforcing push of cold follows with a chilly start to the weekend, although the winds will be much lighter, so a wintry day Saturday, but perhaps more comfortable as the morning clouds give way to some sunshine. By Saturday night, milder air lifts more clouds into the region, which means a chance of some light snow or snow showers Sunday, along with a warming trend, sending thermometers above freezing by afternoon. Mildish early next week with some scattered snow or rain showers. Now the forecast details. Scattered snow showers or brief snow squalls with a dusting to an inch or two this evening, then partial clearing late. Lows in the teens, winds increasing 10 to 25 miles per hour. Friday, some morning clouds and flurries, then increasing sun, windy and colder, highs 20 to 25, northwest winds gusting 30 to 40 miles per hour. Friday night, partly cloudy early, then more clouds and a few stray flurries, lows 10 to 15, the winds will diminish. Saturday, morning clouds breaking for increasing sun, not as breezy, but still chilly, 20 to 25. Saturday night, partly cloudy, then more clouds, lows near 10 above, and Sunday, mostly cloudy, a chance of snow showers, milder. Highs in the 30s. That's your Outdoor Edge forecast. I'm Fairbanks Museum meteorologist Mark Breen. Good luck and be safe.
All right, let's jump into the harvest report. We've got a couple minutes left here. We're going to start with the West Barnett store. We're going to do the top 5. And so the top 5. So number 5 was Chris Bunnell. He had a 177 pounder with a 7 points. And then the 4th largest with Michael Hale had a 182 pound with that was 8 pointer. And number 3 was Steve Wells, 184.3 pounds, and he was out of North Danville, and that was a 9-pointer. And the second largest one that was reported in the West Barnett store was Susan Wright, 186 pounds. That was a 10-pointer, and she was out of Barnett. And there is an unnamed person that got a 221-pound 8-pointer out of Reigate, and that was from the West Barnett store. So what we do have here for the Upper Valley Grill up there in Groton, the top 5 is Cody Smith out of Montpelier, got a 166-pound 8-pointer, and number 4 was Brent Darling, got a 167-pound 8-pointer. And also out of Groton, the 3rd largest from Sarah Silva got a 173-pounder 6-pointer. And the 2nd largest deer that was reported at the Upper Valley Grill was from Tanika Oliver out of Peachum. She got a 180-pound 8-pointer. And congratulations to Logan Oliver winning the 2024 Upper Valley Grill Deer Pool Big Buck, 205 pounds, 8 points. And that came out of the Upper Valley Grill.